Hey guys, what's going on? A couple nights ago, I got done playing some video games, and it was probably maybe about midnight, 1 o'clock, and I knew I had to be up kind of early the next morning, so I wanted to kind of get to bed kind of early. Usually I'm up, like some people, like 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, playing, but I knew I had to be up kind of early the next morning, and it was around the same time that Matt on Twitter tweeted that we missed the Cipher and Blackout. So it made me think, I'm like, how many other stuff have we missed during the Black Ops 4 uh, season or year one? That's why I'm probably going to title this like year two, because maybe this is stuff that's going to help us kind of get warmed up or get excited for year two if we're going to get anything, new zombie maps, or maybe even a blackout operation for year two of Black Ops 4, which is a little bit iffy, I think, too, because with Modern Warfare having a Battle Royale coming soon, probably around the same Super Bowl time as Apex Legends, they're probably going to follow the same uh, pattern, I guess, it might be the best word. So I think maybe the Battle Royale is going to get released around that time, but hopefully we'll still get some zombie maps or something for Black Ops 4. So I don't know what made me click on it. I think so. I ended up clicking on these declassified videos. I think, like I said, looking for maybe some hints of maybe something that we've missed during Black Ops 4, and at the same time, looking to see if there's any devs that are in it that I didn't know about. Because to be honest, like the beginning of Black Ops 4, the devs that I like most people might only know would be like Jason Blundell, Von DeHar, and Brian Toohey and Kevin Sherwood, because those are the ones that I always used to see in some of the old videos during like COD XP and interviews and stuff like that. So I wanted to see if there's any of the other devs that I didn't know. So I was like, you know what, maybe I'll click on them. So the first one that comes up when you click on it is about it's declassified episode 1 Nuketown, and I was just gonna, like I said, lay in bed and let all of them play through. So it jumps to the next one is the ballistics, and like I said, same thing, looking for Easter eggs, looking if there's any devs that I know now that I might have even like followed on Twitter to see if they're featured in any of these. I thought that would be really cool. So it goes to episode 3, Sound of a Store. Sound of a Store. That's funny too. I never even thought that could be almost like a Star Wars thing, which it's not. But I thought that'd be kind of cool in my mind, and that's kind of how I look for like Easter eggs. I overthink stuff way too much. I'm like, oh wow, episode 3. That kind of reminds me almost like Star Wars. So, anyways, it jumps to episode 5, visual effects. I believe that stands for. And then it kind of stopped. I think it might have went into another Treyarch video or something like that. So then I kind of just backtracked and I looked at the list, make sure I didn't miss anything. So it goes, episode 1, 2, 3, and then 5. I'm like, well, that's super suspicious that episode 4 isn't in there. So for me, it's a red flag, either like a breadcrumb or just super suspicious. Even though it could be just like a slip up or like an oversight by Treyarch. Maybe they just forgot to plug in episode 4. But knowing Treyarch and knowing how to look for Easter eggs and stuff like that, I'm like, that's super suspicious. Why did they private? I thought the video went private. I'm like, did they hide the video? Did something go wrong with that video? So I'm like, what? And I tried to remember what was episode 4. So then I kind of searched, declassified Treyarch, maybe declassified, or Black Ops 4 declassified episode 4. So what comes up is declassified episode 4, making the music, and like I said, man, that is just so like suspicious. Why that's not there? So I'm like, let me watch it then. I'm like, there's got to be something in there. Why they wouldn't group it with the other ones? They're almost trying to hide something. So of course I start watching it and I'll let it play through. And I'm thinking most people might miss this, because kind of like me, sometimes you watch videos and you listen to it, you put your phone down and you listen to it while it plays. Maybe you're doing other stuff, and maybe at the time we're not thinking about looking for Easter eggs in videos. So it starts talking about Jack Wall, and he talks about how he makes the music and all that stuff. And obviously, I have the volume turned off, just so there's no copyright. So just in case if you missed it, if you go here at this point, and I was like, I just flipped out. Like, you look at his name, it's a cipher, and then it kind of composes, I guess, in a way. No pun, but like it kind of transforms into his name. So I said, well, wow, that's crazy that they hit almost like a key, a cipher key in some sort there, where like that's a JACKWALL, and you can see those are two L's, and it says COMPOSER. And of course, I don't have this on the highest setting, just because. So I was like, wow, they actually are so clever that they hid the key in the video. So it made me think, I'm like, wow, that's really, really clever. That can help me solve the one that I've always, cipher that I've always wondered about. And for me, it's strange that, like, the ciphers and the Easter eggs that are outside of the game are just more intriguing to me than playing the game. Like, for me, when I play Black Ops, zombies, it's just more about killing zombies than it is looking for triggers and solving Easter eggs that way. So I said, first of all, that is from March. That's, obviously almost a few months from a year ago. So I searched really hard, and keep in mind, like I said, I had to be up like 8 in the morning the next day, and 8 or 9 in the morning the next day. And so this is about probably like 1 or 2 in the morning. And I'm like, I can't go to sleep not I don't want to say transpose, I don't know the right word, but like pretty much solving the Easter egg. So I searched really hard to try to find a good photo of the shirt that Jason Blundell had. And the funny part is kind of confirms, like I said, it officially solves or confirms, because when this first hit, when was this, like July during Comicon, I looked at it, I'm like, there's a letter here and a letter here that are exactly the same. And if you spell it out, I had a pretty sure bet. And at the time, I guess, obviously, July, we didn't know if it was going to really cross over Ether and Chaos. So if you can kind of think right now what that could be, because there's two letters there, that gave it away for me instantly when I saw it back in July. I'm like, well, that's pretty funny, but why would they put that there? I thought, maybe it's two different stories. So what I started to do, I went here and I kind of, used these letters to kind of plug it into here like this. So the only thing that you're going to notice is in Jack Wall's name, there's no T. So what I did, like, I just kind of plugged it in, and if you plug in a couple T's there, it's the word protect. So of course, like I said, now it's about like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like so much like on an adrenaline rush. So I'm like, well, my next thing is to try and figure out what that cipher in 9 is, because this is another one that's bugged me, because I saw the letter A, and at the time nobody knew, or no, actually up until now nobody knows what it said around it. I'm like, is, because there's a quote that it's either Shaw or Bruno or Diego, they say in the game when you play, they're like, what does that ancient language mean in the spawn area or whatever, or the starting area? He says something like that. So that's always bugged me, because at that point I'm like, letter A could mean a couple different things. It could mean Alistair, it could mean Ether, and it could, now knowing what we know with the solve, protect it. To me, 99% of the chance it means to protect the Library of Alexandria. Um, so, and I have another picture where I actually zoomed in, and if you look at the pictures or the symbols, it's the same exact one that's on Jason Blundell's shirt. So that a little bit was a letdown. I thought maybe it'd be like a second cipher that maybe gives us more of a clue. But at the same time, at least it got solved. Like you can see, it's the same exact letters. Um, I mean, it's a little bit different that way, but it's the same exact cipher that Jason Blundell had on his shirt. So, and like I said, the reason I'm kind of putting this out here now is because, like, if we're getting new maps, this is kind of gonna help get people excited, hopefully, and any new maybe chaos maps that come out. And there's a couple, and the reason too is there's a couple other solves that I've had and I held on to, and I kind of want each um, storyline to kind of have its own moment. Like I don't want to find like an ether solve, an Easter egg or a solve while chaos is going on and vice versa. And at the same time, I kind of adapted almost like that Jimmy Zielinski way of thinking where I rather watch the zombie community solve it for themselves. Like if I figure something out and I figure something that maybe other people might figure out, or eventually it's a solve that would answer some stuff in the storyline. I think in a way I like seeing how people see stuff for the first time. The best example would be the classified posters, hints toward Nuketown and the APD. And then if you look at the next Ether poster or loading screen, it hinted towards the next map, and it went on like that. So at the same time, like if I have a 90% idea or certainty that it's gonna hint towards the next map, I want to see people's reaction, because if you knew that Nuketown was gonna come, it's gonna kind of start a lot of issues in a way. And I want people to be surprised, and I want to see the general reaction when they find out. Like, and it's the same thing with kind of the loading screen for Tagged or Toten. I had an idea that it's going to be maybe based on the keynote to Toten movie reel. So, anyways, I don't want to kind of keep rambling, but anyways, so hopefully, like this is gonna help out for year 2 if we do get some Zombie Chronicles 2, DLC 5, or some chaos. It might be something to kind of help rejuvenate the zombies community into being excited for more maps that are coming. And at the same time, it's kind of more personal thing where I see stuff, I'm like, I have to figure that out for myself. Like, it's kind of like when somebody tells you they have a secret, you're like, you have to know the secret. Like, you'll try so many things, you'll ask other people, or I guess even like gossip or whatever. Like, you have to know like what's going on. You want to be in on the story or whatever. I'm like, I have to figure out what that shirt mean, that shirt, cipher, what it means. So it's just something that always kind of like I kept in the back of my head. And when I saw that video, I was like, wow, that's crazy. That's been there the whole time. So anyways, the only last thing that I wanted to point out is when I solved it, I'm like, maybe that's a key for the last cipher that's unsolved on 9. So I plugged it in. Of course, it doesn't do anything. So